Monty Python has a great take on social commentary and life in general, and it's just Monty Python is just hilarious. Okay, let's do this. This is the beginning of the third tutorial, getting into the more intricacies of gameplay. Yeah, that's the thing. It's expensive to do that. So now we're learning about faithful and faith. There are units called faithful who are able to call miracles on the battlefield. In contrast to magicians, the faithful require faith points. Difficult terrain. Some terrain hexagons are more difficult than others. They're called difficult terrain. That's good to know. And are always displayed by decor, such as rubble or rocks. Each hexagon of difficult terrain counts as 2 hexagons for any movement, except for flying and mobile units. Select your priest of Salaul and move him across the difficult terrain. That would be this one right here. So movement penalty, that's fine. I'm right at home with turn-based tactics with hexes. I'm right at home with those. I've played BattleTech ever since BattleTech was in its 2nd edition. That's the pen and paper version, not video. You know, that was years and years and years ago. I shouldn't say that. It's like I'm trying to make myself sound old. Calling a miracle. Your priest of the god Salaul, I'm going to say that, Salaul is close to the enemy and he has enough faith points to call his bad omen. As with magicians, the faith can call as many miracles as they wish as long as they have the faith points. If your priest had more faith, he would call other miracles. Watch out, the faithful and magicians suffer a -6 will penalty when they incant or call miracles in melee combat, so do not expose for too long. Call the bad omen miracle against the nearest enemy. So that would be, this is my bad omen. Here we go. Cursed. What does bad omen do? The target of this miracle automatically fails its next attack roll or incantation. Okay, nice. So that was it, and they're telling us about it. The fail of an attack roll. The effect of the bad omen curse, which you've just cast, prevents the enemy swordsman from succeeding in attack, even though he had every chance to hit. Warrior monks and warrior mages. Incantation penalties in melee combat do not apply to hybrid units such as warrior monks and warrior mages, who can also attack their enemies in melee combat after incanting. However, these units can only cast 1 spell or call 1 miracle per turn. Let me take another read through of that. Incantation penalties in melee combat do not apply to the hybrid units. So that's the benefit of a hybrid unit. They don't get the penalty. But these units can only cast 1 spell per turn, not per limit of their faith or mana. Use the Black Paladin Warrior Monk to call his Honor of the Black Paladin miracle and then attack the swordsman. Okay, so that's what this guy is right here. Select him, and here it is. This does, for 3 turns, all Black Paladins within range gain the Fierce and Possessed attribute and increase their Fear score by 3. Okay, that's an area of effect. We saw it in little purple. You met Michael Stackpole. Cool. Yeah, he wrote a lot for FASA back in the day, and then, you know, over the years the BattleTech license got chopped up to bits. I mean, it's still around in all different areas, but I read a lot of Michael Stackpole BattleTech books. So, warrior monks and warrior mages. Oh, did I not use this correctly? Oh, I had to. I can attack with it. Okay, I thought it was an AOE, but because it showed me the Why was it showing? Use the Black Paladin warrior monk to call his Honor of the Black Paladin miracle, then attack the swordsman. Okay. I forgot that step. I think I forgot that step. I think I did that right. Select non-activated units. It's possible to rotate between your as yet unactivated units on this turn by using the tab key. The shortcut's very useful to quickly take control of remote units. This is probably very helpful to learn the shortcut keys because we're going to be playing timed rounds against other players. So press on tab until you have selected your Skull Warrior. So we're going to tab through. Well, that was the first one. Handy. Resistance to fear. Certain units carry the fear attribute and strike dread into the hearts of their enemies, who must make a resistance to fear roll whenever they come into contact with such a unit. This roll is based on the willpower of the unit trying to resist. So, here in my... I forgot what window they called this, but I'm just going to call it abilities. It shows I have fear 17, so it must be a fear of level 17, and based on the willpower of the unit trying to resist. Move your Skull Warrior into contact with the enemy swordsman. Oh, right here. So we're going to go for the enemy swordsman. And let me see if I can look at his will. Attack the frightened swordsman. Oh, attacks of opportunity. Let's read this. We looked at this before. The mere presence of your Skull Warrior has succeeded in frightening him. The latter now suffers accuracy, parry, and dodge penalties until the next turn. Units which are sensitive to fear must test their courage each time they come into contact with a frightening unit, or at the beginning of each turn in contact with a frightening unit. The unit that has passed its test against a level of fear is immune to this and lower levels of fear until the start of the next turn. Welcome back, welcome back. So, do our little attack. Now we can look at him, I think. No, we cannot. Maybe because it's the tutorial still going on. So, legendary units are the most powerful units of an army. They're usually easy to distinguish on the battlefield because of their great size. These units have a high cost in army points, but their destructive potential is very high, so you should never underestimate them. Here you're taking on a Chimera. This unit is a formidable warrior mage, the most powerful in the game. It can cast very powerful spells and strike far harder in melee combat than any other unit of the Lion. You're going to have to mobilize all your means in order to handle this threat. Okay. So I guess I'm on my own now. We'll see. Maybe we'll have some more. Oh, we got more. Difficulty roll and hit formula. Most of the chances of an action succeeding are governed by the following formula, used for hit rolls in melee and range combat, as well as for spellcasting, miracles, attacks of opportunity, and even for fear. The formula is as follows. Characteristic of the attacker times 5 minus characteristic of the defender times 5 plus 80. Thus, an attacking unit in melee combat with 10 accuracy against a unit that has 10 parry will have 80% chance of succeeding in its attack. Each accuracy point increases its chance of making a hit by 5, and each parry point reduces it by 5. Note, in the case of fear rolls, it is the unit which resists which makes the roll, and which benefits from the 80%. Let's see, in case of the fear rolls, it's the unit which resists which makes the roll, and which benefits from the 80%. I'm not quite sure I understand that last note. Critical hits, all attacks, which are melee, ranged spells, can inflict critical damage. You have a 1% chance of triggering a crit hit, but some skills allow you to increase these chances. Attack the sparkling with your skeleton warrior. So we're going to attack this guy. Oh, we're charging him, huh? Zoom in a little bit maybe to get just a little closer view of some of these things going on. Analyze the situation. To better plan your actions, you must analyze the characteristics of your enemies. For this, at any moment, you may select an enemy unit by a left click. That's just what my question was earlier. And you can select enemies to look at their stats. During clashes, this info will allow you to gain the upper hand over your opponent, so do not neglect it. I'm not sure if... I don't think we can rotate. Just like in Blackguards, looking at the battlefield is about the same as Blackguards. You can use the WASD or the arrow keys to move up, left, and down, and right. And use the scroll wheel on the mouse to move up and down, but it also tilts at an angle. It's stuck that way. Blackguards has a little bit more freedom of movement and a wider range of zooming in and out, but this is step-based, and it's only 2 steps going in. Like, you can zoom in different levels. You can zoom in 1, 2 levels, and 1, 2 out, which isn't bad. You can see it just as well. I imagine most people will have it zoomed all the way out because that affords you the greatest view. Select targets. The enemy sparkling of light has attacked your Skull Warrior. This attack carried high risks. Not only the chance of making a hit were low, but the Skull Warrior's riposte was almost guaranteed, inflicting heavy damage. To avoid this kind of exchange going against you, make sure you pay attention to the balance of army points between each unit on the field. Such as with this sparkling, a weak and inexpensive unit which confronts a powerful unit often risks losing more than it would gain. Optimal use of your units and available actions will often make the difference between crushing defeat and victory. Choose its target. Your Skeleton Warrior is alone against a Knight of the Lion, the elite unit of the opposing army. His power is far too limited for him to stand up against the onslaught. Eliminate the sparkling of light and occupy the Knight of the Lion with your Skull Warrior. So this guy right here, and I'm gonna finish him off. Now I get, because whenever this was discussed in the first, a riposte was discussed in the first tutorial, in the basic one. If you defeat a guy in your attack turn, you can basically get another turn. It's like a riposte. It's called a riposte or an initiative movement, or I forget what it was called already. But so now I can attack the. I can't left click on it when I'm doing an actual attack. But this is. Oh, you know what? Just as a side note, whenever I hover over the enemy during my turn, if you look in the top right, there's a little box that appears that says chance 75%, encirclement 0%, and damage 10. I think that's what it's. Ooh. No, it's called pursuit movement. That's what you get. A pursuit movement. And a riposte is sort of like a counter attack. So, start of turn. At the beginning of each turn, a dice is thrown for each player. To this result, between 1 and 6, is added the discipline score of the faction being played. You can view the discipline score of each faction when creating an army. The lion is favored with a score of 3, whereas the wolf and ram are known to be relatively undisciplined in their approach to combat. Score of 1 for wolf and 0 for ram. The player who gets the best result is the first to start his or her turn. Maintenance phase. At the beginning of each new turn, units recover their mana or faith. The sequence also triggers all maintenance effects. The ephemeral attribute of the morbid puppets, the end of effects that last several turns, and so on. Mana and faith. Magicians recover the same amount of mana on each turn until the reserve is full. Faithful earn faith points according to the units in their faith zone. Visible when hovering over the unit. Orthodox faithful, the ways of light and destiny, earn 1 faith point for each ally present in this zone. On the other hand, iconoclast faithful, the way of darkness, gain a point for each enemy. Whereas the mana of magicians can be stored, faith is reset. So this is starting to add a lot of elements of strategy and tactics. So now we just now started turn 2, and we're going to be on our own here. Many combinations of surprises still await. Okay, eliminate your opponent. Make sure you keep tight control over the most dangerous units of your opponent by using your incapacitating effects. Alright, so let's see if I can't. This guy is still way back here. He's my archer. Let's see if we can't get him up here. Now, see, if I take this archer and try to attack this guy, I have a 9% chance. Whoops, I just lost my turn because I let the time run out, which is not good. So now, what do we have here? Let's charge this guy. No, he doesn't get a riposte. Oh, he did that time. Must be chance based. Or it must be based. What was the riposte based off of? Parry? Parry and dodge? Or no, parry and maybe parry versus attack. See, this is all becoming highly strategic. So we're going to try our Honor of the Black Paladin. On this big bad guy here. I think that's working correctly, right? What does this do? Okay, hang on a second. I need to let me just attack this guy. There is a lot to try to learn here, isn't there? A lot to learn. So this guy has Bad Omen. The target fails its next attack. So let's definitely use that on this. Whoops. And my time is ticking down fast. So I really have to be careful here. I really have to. Now this is Master Strike. Strike, powerful power attack seeks to do away the target. Okay, for the duration of this attack, the unit gains +4 damage but suffers -4 accuracy. Is that right? Or was that supposed to be for me? Wow, crushed. I need to use my archer and get rid of that. Oh, there we go. Oh, you can charge across hexes. So you just need line of sight, it seems, without any objects in your way. You don't actually have to be down a lane of hexes to do a charge. Let's zoom in a little bit here. Hi Gerg, how are you doing? Doing good, just trying to figure out these, trying to figure out this game. I'm not sure if I'm doing this correctly. I am doing that. I believe I am doing that correctly, but unfortunately, I'm not sure I can hit from around the corner there with my archer. I might have to do some more running here. He's gonna be dead before I get there, though, I think. I can hit spacebar to go ahead and end my turn. Now, it's a 10% chance of me hitting one of my own guys. I'll try it. Well, I think I hit the enemy, so that's cool. There we go. The Black Cauldron, you want to read? Okay, so that was the third tutorial, and that third tutorial really threw a lot at us, I think.